Now, I hate this man.
Oi!
You eat dung, shut up. But I love his weapon. And I'll tell you why. Hello, my fellow tarnished. Welcome one and all as I wax lyrical about the sword of Milos. This bone blade of a giant that was less than giant. Seriously, it comes from a giant who was tiny by giant standards and really did not have a good time because of it, which is already amusing to begin with. But this weapon, I put to you, is probably, on average, the best weapon in the game. By that I mean, does it do the highest damage? No. Does it have the most powerful Ash of War? No. Though it does have an excellent one. But what I mean to say is, this is the, on average, best at everything weapon. If I had no idea what your stat spread was, what your build was, anything like that, and I had to give you a single weapon that I think would perform the best on most people's characters, it would be this weapon. It's just this fascinating multi-tool packed with features that essentially destroys no matter how and where you use it, and it can be used in a multitude of different ways. It's just phenomenal. So let me get on to what I mean here before we go over where we get it from. So you know how some weapons have special properties? They heal you when you kill an enemy, or they have a unique heavy attack, or the Ashes of War is particularly interesting. Something that kind of sets it apart from other weapons in its class. Well, the Sword of Milos has not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 unique special features and functions that are just wonderful. So let me go through them all. First and foremost, of course, it's a great sword, so it comes with that really effective and solid, well-rounded greatsword moveset. So unique feature number 1 is, by standard, its heavy attack is, well, different from your normal greatsword. It's this sliding across the floor uppercut. You can hold it down to slide further, or just tap it to instantly bring it up, but that's really neat. It's very powerful, it's very effective, it crosses some good distance, and it is a really good way to catch people off guard. The next unique feature then we need to look at is the Ashes. Obviously there's loads of unique Ashes of War, but this one is unique even amongst Ashes of War. It's a huge AoE blast that, for whatever reason, actually does stagger people despite doing no damage, which is really good. And you also get a bit of hyper armor while doing it, but it makes everyone afflicted in a huge range around you take more damage. It lowers their defenses. And it also lowers their status resist, so you can build statuses on them much easier. I mean, already you're seeing the massive utility of having that in your arsenal to pull out to power up whatever else you're doing. Then we have the fact that while you are buffed from this Ashes, well, I mean, the key is there. It buffs you. Not only does it debuff the enemies, you will glow red for about 30 seconds or so, which actually gives you more damage. So that stacks on top of the enemies now taking more damage, which is unique property 3. Unique property 4 is its bleed weapon. We know bleed weapons are, let's be honest, the best weapons currently. Arcane makes them silly, and while this doesn't scale with Arcane, so we can't go crazy, having bonus bleed on a blade is always beautiful. You get a lot of extra damage out of this. Then, while you are buffed up with the extra damage from the Ashes, that already unique heavy attack becomes an even more unique heavy combo with a fast triple hit and then a chargeable slam. You can either let it go quickly for just a quick slam, or hold it down for a jump into the air massive boom. This is a 4 rapid hit combo with a bleed greatsword that does ridiculous amounts of damage and is so incredibly useful. There's even a bit of AoE explosion on the end of the final hit. I mean, am I like, this weapon it's got everything.
But wait, there's more.
And finally, not even explained anywhere on the weapon, and somewhat randomly, but it's true, every time you kill an enemy while holding this weapon, no matter what you kill them with, as long as it's out, you get 5 FP back, which is 2.5 times more potent than the FP back on Kill Talisman. Which means even if you're never planning on swinging this sword, if you're just generally clearing a level with sorceries, for example, this is going to refund you so much FP as you go. Or you can combine it with something like the Blasphemous Blade, which is one of the, if not the best Ashes of War in the game at Taker's Flames. Well, that obviously costs FP, so if you power stance also a great sword with Sword of Milos, you have this beautiful best of both worlds that both fuels itself, you heal when you kill someone, you get FP when you kill someone, and they're the same weapon type, so yeah, as I said, you get that awesome power stancing moveset with a bit of bleed, with a bit of fire damage, and incredible Ashes of War to swap between. It's just perfect, and seriously is probably the best companion weapon to go with essentially every build you could ask for, because it just gives a bit of everything you could ever want across the board. So, even if you only give yourself the minimum required stats to use it, which is a fairly low strength and dex, and it does scale at a C at 10 with strength and dex, so a decent quality option though slightly leans more towards dex, but in any case, even if you don't pump those stats, it still deals appreciable damage as a baseline, and on top of that you get the Ashes and the Bleed to kick it up another notch, which means even a pure int sorcerer could be using this and still really having an effective melee option despite not actually properly statting for it. It's just wondrous and I absolutely love it. And even if I do go full dex strength, a sort of 50-60 breakpoint spread, I mean, you can see on New Game Plus how much damage it's actually doing. And that's ignoring, again, all of the utility that I really feel like I've stressed so far. So the question is then, how do you actually go about getting this weapon? Well, as I alluded to at the beginning, it is the weapon of the loathsome Dung Eater. So you have to convince him, let's say, to part ways with it. And while that's its own questline that we do have a complete guide on that I will link below, the TLDR is that you need to find one of the many seedbed curses around the world. Once you do that, you can talk to the Dung Eater in the Round Table Hold. He'll give you a key to free his body. His real body, that is. His real body is in a jail cell in Lindell Sewers that you can get to fairly easily. You don't have to do all of the maze and the main bulk of it. You release him, and then once he is released and loose in the world, he will invade you in the moat outside the capital. You can either combine this with the Blackguard's questline, where you talk to him, get the necklace of him, sort all that out, then you buy some shrimp, he will then move to the moat, warn you about Dung Eater. When you come back, he will be dead or dying, and then Dung Eater will invade you once he finally finishes, you know, doing the dying thing. Either way, you kill Dung Eater, and then you get the Sword of Milos. You can get a much more in-depth version of that, and of course the rest of the quest, again with the guide I will link down below, but that's basically it. So yeah, this for me was just, hey, I'm falling in love with this weapon and I really feel like I want to spread the word on it. It's kind of an easy one to miss and it's a little bit obscure to get, requiring you to delve into Dung Eater, and let's be honest, who wants to do that? In any case, I hope you appreciate the Sword of Milos just as much as I do, and maybe incorporate it into your builds. For now though, hit that subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss more Elden Ring tips, tricks, funny bits, builds, guides, all the good stuff you know and love, and of course, like if you have enjoyed this. Please consider supporting this channel on Patreon down below. It is what keeps us going and is appreciated more than you know. Oh, goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.